You looked a little concerned as to whether I'd answer any questions. And now I'm happy to take any questions you have.
Do you think there's a risk of a recession? How do you rate that?
You know, you need to talk to economists. I think I got a B in Econ 101. I got an A, however, in keeping taxes low and being fiscally responsible with the people's money. You know, part of the reason why there's not this kind of instant democracy in Iraq is because people are still recovering from Saddam Hussein's brutal rule. I thought an interesting comment was made when somebody said to me, I heard somebody say, you know, where's Mandela? Well, Mandela's dead because Saddam Hussein killed all the Mandelas. He was a brutal tyrant that divided people up and split families, and people are recovering from this.
Your Defense Secretary, Robert Gates, was recently asked by New York Times columnist David Brooks if knowing what he knows now, invading Iraq was a good idea. And I believe your Defense Secretary answered, I don't know. Does that represent daylight with you? Is that second guessing? Have you spoken to the Defense Secretary? And has that changed your mind at all?
I think he made it pretty clear the removal of Saddam, I don't know about this column, but I know his previous statements, he said getting rid of Saddam Hussein was the right decision. But I haven't talked to him about the column. If I had to ask everybody in my government to respond to columns and news stories, that's all I'd be doing, is talking to people in my government.
Iran's president, Ahmadinejad, says he wants to go to ground zero and place a wreath there. There is some objection to that in New York. What are your thoughts?
My thoughts are that the local police will make the proper decision, and that if they decide for him not to go, like it looks like they have, I can understand why they would not want somebody who's running a country who's a state sponsor of terror down there at the site.
Mr. President, former Secretary of Defense Rumsfeld recently was asked if he missed you. He said no.
Oh, wait a minute. I miss him. My feelings are not hurt. You'll find isolationists are those who say it's not our business what happens overseas. It doesn't matter if there's a free society in the heart of the Middle East as far as our long-term security and peace. I just strongly reject that. I think it does matter a lot that the United States is working with other nations to promote liberty and freedom, because I believe liberty is a change agent. Liberty can help hostile parts of the world become peaceful parts of the world. You know, our strategy in dealing with these extremists who still want to attack us is on the one hand chase them and find them and bring them to justice, and on the other hand help change the conditions that caused 19 kids to get on airplanes and come and kill nearly 3,000 citizens on our soil. The best way to do that is to be active with foreign policy. Is not to lose faith in values, but to actively promote universal values. An isolationist would say it's not worth it. Doesn't matter to the United States of America. Well, I think it does matter, and I think it matters a lot. Herman, have you got a question?
Yes, sir. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Mr. President, for Republicans seeking election next year, are you an asset or a liability?
Strong asset. Man.
Follow?
No. I knew I made a mistake calling on you in the first place.
He's known you a long time.
Yeah, yes. And the problem is I called on him, and I've known him for a long time. Yeah. Look, candidates who go out and say that the United States is vulnerable to attack and we're going to make sure our professionals have the tools necessary to protect us are going to do well.
Quick follow, if I may, Mr. President.
No, you may not.
Mr. President, back to your grade point average on holding the line on taxes.
I thought you were going to talk about the actual grade point average. I remind people that, like when I'm with Connie, I say she's the PhD and I'm the C student, and just look at who's the president and who's the advisor. But go ahead.
You said earlier that people in Iraq are sick and tired of the violence. To what extent has the recent Blackwater incident frayed your relations with Prime Minister Maliki and his government, and why are outfits like Blackwater above the law in Iraq?
First of all, I have yet to speak to the Prime Minister about this subject. I'll see him in New York next week at the UN. I'm confident he'll bring it up. I also appreciate the fact that he's willing to work with the U.S. government to set up a commission to find out what actually happened. the folks like Blackwater, who provide security for the State Department, are under rules of engagement. In other words, they have certain rules, and this commission will determine whether or not they violated those rules. So obviously, to the extent that innocent life was lost, I'm saddened. Our objective is to protect innocent life, and we've got a lot of brave souls in the theater working hard to protect innocent life, and evidently some innocent lives were lost. And my thoughts and prayers go out to the families. And I want to find out the facts about exactly what took place there in the theater, and that's exactly what we're about to find out.
What is your reaction to the MoveOn.org ad that mocked General Petraeus as General Petraeus said that he cooked the books on Iraq? And secondly, would you like to see Democrats, including presidential candidates, repudiate that ad?
I thought the ad was disgusting. And I felt like the ad was an attack not only on General Petraeus, but on the U.S. military. And I was disappointed that not more leaders in the Democrat Party spoke out strongly against that kind of ad. And that leads me to come to this conclusion, that most Democrats are afraid of irritating a left-wing group like MoveOn.org, are more afraid of irritating them than they are of irritating the United States military. That was a sorry deal. And it's one thing to attack me. It's another thing to attack somebody like General Petraeus.